This build gives the player the ability to automate every single item in the create mod that doesn't include liquids in its recipes, by covering all of the create mod functions like smelting, pressing, mixing, and many more. This is all done by utilizing a simple frogport system with the combination of factory gauges, which can be used to program all kinds of automation tasks. Not only that, but this machine is designed with an extremely compact 3x4 wide design, utilizes no precision mechanisms to make, and has an expandable main storage system on the end, which fits seamlessly within the dimensions of the machine. Overall, this machine is the start of a new wave of Link series builds, where machines are designed to blend the functions of factory gauge based automation and restocker based automation into one machine, by taking the pros of both rather than forcing users to use one or the other. Not only that, but this new system aligns to put all of the inputs and outputs on one side of the machine, with every future machine including an expandable 3x3 storage vault on the back with a StockLink frogport packager setup assigned to it for ease of linking to other various builds. It goes without saying that I'll be sticking to the 3x4 blocks dimension standard I've set for all applicable machines so far. With all that out of the way, let's begin with the breakdown of the machine. As you can see, the front of the machine consists of a line of frogports, with each frogport assigned to its own create mod function, like washing, compacting, crushing, and many more options, labeled by the signs on the front of the machine. When the frogport receives a package, it unpacks it into the machine, where it then proceeds to go through the function it's labeled to do. All of the items that are processed through their respective functions end up on the main belt in the back, which transfers all of the processed items into a main storage vault located on the end of the machine. With the use of factory gauges linked to the StockLink in the middle of the machine, you can complete all kinds of various automation tasks by programming them to complete various functions, ideal for more tedious automations but not so good for raw resource creation, since it will quickly bottleneck the machine. To give an example, I'll assign a stack of cobblestone to the crushing function, which fills up the machine with the desired amount of gravel you've assigned by converting the cobblestone into gravel. You can then take this approach and continuously expand upon it to complete all sorts of automation tasks. In conclusion, this new system is set to completely change the way that we perceive making create mod post-production builds, and I hope to see many more players use this as inspiration in taking on various variations of this system for all kinds of automation tasks, ultimately enhancing the ease of compatibility with other players' builds and stimulating the concept of Link series and making all builds across the entire create mods ecosystem more compatible with one another. With all that out of the way, let's dive into the build tutorial. First, we are going to complete the materials list, which I will leave in the top left hand corner of the screen till the tutorial is over. Whether you are building it by hand or pasting it in with a schematic, there will be a setup guide towards the end of this video if you wish to see how this machine is to be set up to get it operational. Before we begin, make sure to map yourself out an area of 16 blocks long, 3 blocks wide, and 4 blocks tall. As we start this machine, this is going to be the back part, and that is going to be the front. So to begin, we're going to start on the back side of the machine and place down 3 andesite scaffoldings. Though this doesn't have to be andesite scaffoldings, it can be any block of your choice. Now let's place down the main belt. We're going to place 15 shafts in a line like this, which is going to be the back side of the machine. Now let's go back down to the end and place 2 more shafts right here like this. And then we're going to connect these 2 shafts with a belt and connect this whole line with a belt as well. Now take yourself an andesite scaffolding and place it here, skip a block, and then place 6 more in a line like this. In between these 2 andesite scaffoldings, place down a vertical gearbox facing that direction. In front of this vertical gearbox, place down a shaft, and then encase the shaft with an andesite casing. Next to that shaft, place down a gearbox in this blank space here. Now skip a block and place 4 vertical gearboxes like this, followed by another vertical gearbox here, but make sure to rotate it with a wrench to face that direction. In front of that vertical gearbox, place down a shaft heel and a shaft heel, and then connect these two with a belt. In front of this shaft, place down a vertical gearbox, and make sure it's facing towards this shaft or this belt. In front of this belt, place down 3 more shafts, and then place a shaft heel, and then connect these two with a belt. And for these two, encase them with an andesite casing. In this blank space, place down a blaze funnel. In this corner, place down a regular gearbox and an andesite scaffolding in front of that. Now take yourself a mechanical saw and place it right here, followed by a regular packager facing that mechanical saw like this. And just like that, the first layer is now complete. So now let's move on to the second layer. To begin, we're going to go ahead and place down our 3x3 vault in the back like this. Now we're going to place an andesite funnel right here. In front of that andesite funnel, we're going to place 3 mechanical crafters. And we're going to go ahead and build this up to its 3x3 form. In this corner, we're going to place down a depot, followed by a brass funnel facing away from it onto this belt right here. Now we're going to take a packager and face it towards this depot. Another vertical gearbox is to be placed on top of this vertical gearbox, but instead it's going to face the opposite direction. In front of this vertical gearbox, place down 5 mechanical saws. Take yourself a packager and place it facing the vault, followed by a hopper facing that packager. Take your 4 encased fans and place them on top of these vertical gearboxes. Behind these fans, place down 4 chutes on top of the main belt. On the end of this mechanical saw, place down a barrel, followed by a brass funnel facing away from that barrel. Take your 2 crushing wheels and place them on top of these vertical gearboxes. On the end of these crushing wheels, place down a depot with a brass funnel facing away from the depot like this. Next to this depot, place down a shaft and encase it with an andesite casing. Now take yourself your 2 basins and place one on top of the blaze funnel and one on top of this sideways gearbox. Make sure that these are both facing the main belt like they are now. On the end of this main belt, we're going to place another shaft and encase it. Take yourself a chute and place it on top of this packager, and take another chute and place it on top of this mechanical belt. Now get yourself 2 more packagers and place one facing this basin and another one facing this basin on the front of the machine like this. Now let's move on to layer 3. To begin with layer 3, we're going to take a deployer and place it on top of this brass funnel. Make sure that the rotation is facing like this. Now take yourself a brass funnel and make it face that deployer. In front of this deployer, place down a cogwheel, and then another cogwheel on top of that one. Now take yourself a packager and make it face the vault in front of the deployer. On the underside of this packager, place down a stock link linked to the rest of your network, like so. On top of this packager, we're going to place a chute, and then next to this chute, we're going to place a barrel right here. Now get your repackager and place it above this hopper facing the barrel, and then place a lever on top of this packager. Above all these mechanical saws, place down chutes. And above all these chutes, place down a barrel. Above these encased fans, place down brass funnels facing the barrels. Now take yourself a cogwheel and place it above the crushing wheels. Next to that cogwheel, place down another one facing like this. Above these crushing wheels, place down a millstone, and on the end of this millstone, place down a brass funnel facing the depot. Now take yourself a vertical gearbox and place it up facing that brass funnel. Next to that vertical gearbox, place down 2 regular gearboxes like this. In front of these regular gearboxes, place down another vertical gearbox like this, followed by once again another gearbox, which is then going to be followed by a vertical gearbox like this. In front of this vertical gearbox, we're going to place a barrel. Next to this barrel, we're going to place a chute. A mechanical press is to be placed in this blank space right here. Now, temporarily break this basin that we placed down and place down a deployer like this. Then go around and place the basin back down. Facing this deployer, we're going to place a hopper right here. In front of the deployer, we're going to place a chute. Now take yourself your packagers. Place one packager right here, facing this chute like this. Then take the next packager and place it right here, facing the hopper. Another one facing this millstone, and another one facing this barrel right here. Now for the final layer. Take yourself a bunch of cogwheels and align the top of these barrels and to this cogwheel right here. Actually, we're going to go one more cogwheel. In front of this cogwheel, place down 2 more like this. A vertical gearbox is to be placed above this cogwheel. And then we can take an andesite casing and apply it to this cogwheel and this cogwheel right here. Now come to the end of your cogwheel chain and place down a vertical gearbox right here, followed by a line of more cogwheels facing upwards instead of sideways. Now take yourself a vertical gearbox and place it here, facing that direction. In front of this vertical gearbox, we're going to place a mechanical press. Then we're going to skip a block and place down a mixer right here above the deployer. Now take yourself some andesite casings and apply it to all of the cogwheels we have placed down on top of the machine like this. Take your regular campfire and place it here, and your soul campfire right here. And for the final step, we're going to take packaged frog ports and place them along the entire top side of the machine like this. Now let's move on to applying filters to the brass funnels and applying signs to the front of the machine so that you know which frog port is assigned to what. We're going to temporarily break these 4 chutes above the saws. Now get yourself 4 attribute filters. We're going to start with the haunted campfire. We're going to go into your JEI and search for sand. We're going to take sand and apply it as a reference item. And then we're going to set it to can be haunted. But instead of doing can be haunted, we're going to set it to cannot be haunted, which is done by adding the opposite attribute to the sand. We're then going to place that attribute filter under the soul campfire like this. We're going to take this exact same method and apply it to all of the other filters. So for washing, we're going to take an item that can be washed, which we're just going to use sand again, add it as a reference item, set it to can be washed, and add the opposite to the attribute list, cannot be washed. We're going to skip this one and apply an attribute filter to this one by once again using sand and setting it to can be smelted, and then adding the opposite. For the campfire one, we're going to search for something that can be cooked. Then we're going to add this to the attribute filter, set it to can be smoked, and set it to cannot be smoked. Then we're going to take the chutes that we broke and place them back down. Now take yourself 2 list filters and assign one to these items. Note that these are going to vary depending on what you want to use your deployer for. Once you have this list of items, set it to deny. And then get yourself another list and set it to the exact same items, but I'll set it to allow instead. Take your list set to allow items and come to the top of the machine. where you're going to apply it to this brass funnel right here. Take the list filter set to deny and come around to the bottom side of the machine and apply it to this brass funnel right here, which is a very specific angle that you gotta apply it to. Lastly, you're going to need to take yourself some signs, like I've done here, and name them to every single function. But since I'm lazy, I'm just gonna show you what each function is to be named, and then you can name them yourself. Now then, let's begin with the setup guide. So far, you've either made the machine by hand or have pasted it in via a schematic. Either way, the setup for this build will be the exact same. First, place water above the brass funnel, located in between the soul and regular campfires. Then, place lava in the open space next to the regular campfire, allowing it to flow down into the hole as well. Next, break and place back down the mechanical crafters while using a wrench as you place them back down to reconnect them as one 3x3 sized mechanical crafter. Next, flip the lever located on top of the repackagers on and off to reset its block values. Take our line of frogports and connect it to the chain conveyor system like this. Once you have set your frogports to one of your overhead chain conveyors, start assigning them to the function they are designed to do. So for the crushing one here, we will name it crushing 1, and so on and so forth for all the others. Now get yourself a restarker linked to your network to send fuel to the blaze burner to keep it active if you intend on using it for a heated mixing function. Lastly, apply rotational power to the machine at any point and speed, ensuring that all the components spin correctly. Note that a minimum of 32 RPMs is required for the mixer to work, and keep in mind that if you ever wish to expand your storage, you can simply extend the main bolt like this. If you have any issues with this build, make sure to join the Our Creation Discord, and if you're interested in gaining exclusive access to hundreds of additional bonus builds like this one, consider joining the Link Series project, both of which you can find more information about in the video's description.